Hello everybody, this is Gianluca with Modesto and this is my video number 16 on KiCad. Last time we complete our layout and we pour also two planes of ground on the two side of the PCB. So today I want to go back to, on this video I want to go back to something that I didn't complete last time. It is important to complete before to move to the next step. If you remember, we changed the footprint of the switch, and also we changed the specific footprint, so from horizontal to vertical of the main connector. So, but if you remember, when we went back to our schematic, when we were designing our schematic, we defined specific part numbers for the LEDs, for the LED. So we defined a new item here, part number, and we of course use the part number we found in Mauser for the LED, and we did the same for the resistor. If you remember, we had a specific part number for that. But we never update the switch and the connector. So for the switch we identify actually a part number, so I just modify that. I added also here the part number, that is what we define here. While for the main connector I haven't found something until now, so I went to Mauser, find a connector that has the same pitch and to position that what we have in our schematic and layout, and it's a Mauser, it's a Molex connector with the 22284027 part number. So what I did, I went back to my schematic, and also for this component I went to the properties, I added a part number and I put the part number. So now all our components in the electronic schematic, they have a specific part number. And if you go to this symbol here, you can actually see this because you have the list of all components in our electronic board, and of course with their reference or identifier, but also a description of what it is or value, and the specific footprint and the part number plus the quantity. Okay. But what you can see here for the footprint, we still have the old one because we updated the footprint on the final PCB layout, but we never went back here to our components list to update also the component list. If you go to get component list, we still have, you see the part numbers we identify at the beginning. So what I want to do now, I want to change that to match what we have in the final PCB. For the switch specifically, remember we define our own library, and which is my personal library. And if you remember here in this library we had one specific component, so I'm going to use this component here. And for the connector, the only change we made was to use the vertical instead of the horizontal one. So I go to the connector, and I select the vertical also here. Okay, so at this point I apply and save to the schematic. And when we go back here, you will see that now we have an updated chart with all the information, and now we are using the correct information in terms of a footprint as well. Now you can of course generate a bill of material that is taking all the information we just defined for each component and generate a file. But what I prefer to do actually is to go again to this file and select open all the groups, select everything, copy and paste on Excel or spreadsheet or whatever other software you want to use. Okay, so I can remove the first line which is the group, indicating the group, and then here I have the list of all my components. What is important for me to have is the part number. So remember, this one is my part number, this one is the quantity. I don't need a datasheet column, so I can delete the datasheet column. Probably we don't need even this column. This one is identifier. And this one is description. Okay. So once we define this spreadsheet, we can call it test 1. And we just download as, for instance, Excel file. And this is the file we are going to use for to ask a quotation to the PCB manufacturer, and so we'll be including the package of files with the Gerber files we are going to send to the manufacturer for quotation. And then we move it to our project. Actually, let me rename this as test KiCad 01. Okay, so now we have our Excel file. Okay, and with this file, I think that's it for today. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.